Basically, ECG is a simple test that can be used to check human heart's rhythm and electrical activity. As you can see in the given image, it has 12 lead electrocardiogram, EKG, and it is composed of P wave, Q, RS complex, and T wave. The QRS complex is often a three separate waves, that is Q wave, R wave, and S wave. The P wave is basically caused by the electrical potentials generated as the atria depolarize prior to the contraction. And QRS complex is caused by the potentials generated when the ventricles depolarize prior to the contraction. We have the T wave, which is caused by the potentials generated as the ventricles recover from the state of depolarization. These characteristics are very important for our future data feature extraction and the data engineering process. The reason why we chose ECG images for cardiovascular prediction is because digital technologies have revolutionized the signal analysis and automated diagnosis. And digitized ECG signals have several advantages, such as security, easy to store, transmit, and retrieve. Also, it is beneficial to convert biomedical signals, such as electrocardiograms, into digital form. That is for faster computerized investigation. This approach has few advantages. The first is instant results. Second would be no need to visit the doctor just to confirm the ECG report. Knowing the initial finding, a patient may consult further with the specialized doctor, and potentially useful in remote areas of the world where doctors are scarce and require long distance travel. In addition to that, we have few disadvantages. Those are, since we don't have large image data set to work on, the results may not be 100% accurate. And we do not intend to replace the present system. Rather, it is useful to speed up the process. We have done a thorough research and we have come up with the repository where we found the ECG images for our analysis. And based on the dataset we found, we have used 4 categories of image classifications for our ECG images. Those are listed: normal myocardial infarction, abnormal heartbeat, history of myocardial infarction. For the data preparation and pre-processing, I will hand it over to Avinash.
Thank you, Nisha. So, Pooja, can you please provide me with access then?
Yes.
Thank you, Pooja. Okay. So now coming back to the data preparation and the pre-processing stage. Once we got to know about the data sets that we are dealing with, where there were 4 categories of data. One correspond to normal ECG images of healthy persons, and other correspond to people who had myocardial infarction, and others with people who already have an history of myocardial infarction, and finally, people who have abnormal heartbeat. On each of these categories, we had around 250 images. So there were literally 1,000 images in our complete data set. So for the first part of pre-processing, what we intended to do is we got all the ECG images. For each ECG image, we first have to convert that ECG image into a grayscale image such that we can perform further processing on top of it. Also, each image can be of a different size, and huge image size can affect our model processing, and it may affect a lot of things during the transformation phase. So what we did is we resized the image according to our needs, and then once it is done, what we did is we find all the divisions of an ECG image. Literally, what we are working on is 12 lead ECG image. So there are V1 to V6 leads, and other lead 1, lead 2, lead 3, and the other AVR, AVL, and AVF leads. So what we are doing is we are dividing these leads into 12 leads. So lead 1, lead 2, lead 3 up to lead 12 for our understanding. Once we divide all the leads, once we get the necessary signal out of it, we are then removing the grid lines out of it. So here grid lines are of no use for us. We just need the signal that we need for processing. So once we get all the signal values, we are then performing a lot of steps on top of it, like At first, once we remove the grid line, to remove the grid lines, what we did is we used thresholding. So we just kept the foreground and the background distinction using thresholding, where we use also thresholding to get it done. Once the thresholding is done, once we have the threshold value and the thresholding is done, we got a binary image out of it. And once we had the binary image, so we have an image in place. But the thing is, inside the ECG image, there are a lot of text involved. So AVR, V1, which are hard coders. So we have to extract only the signal out of it and remove all the text. So we were doing a lot of contouring and other stuff. Let me just showcase a collab for basic understanding of all the steps. Just let me go to the collab. Okay, here's the first initial collab that we worked on. Yeah, here at first we are reading an ECG image from the user. Once the image is read, we are dividing then, as I said, we are dividing the image into 12 leads and storing it in a list for processing. So this is how it looks once the image has been a single ECG image is divided into 12 leads. Once the leads are divided, basically we had 13 leads in place, but we use only the important leads. The long lead we are not considering for our process. Then what we are doing is, as I said, we are removing the grid lines and perform thresholding. We also use Gaussian filtering for smoothing the image to get the signal higher priority from the background. So we used Gaussian filtering, thresholding, and other basic image processing step to extract only the signal from the image. Here we have the binary image. From earlier we had an RGB image which was converted into grayscale. Now we have the binary image in place. Once we have the binary image, I'm just plotting and showing a single image where we are using contouring to extract only the signal out of it. So now we have only the signal out of it. So once we have the signal, we are going to perform at first, basically, once we had the exact signal in place, we are saving it in a CSV file. So we were first converting into a 2D signal, basically a 2D array consisting of X and Y points. So once we had it, so we thought is only the X points would sufficient for our processing since it contains the peak values of the image. So we excluded the Y value and we got only the X value in a form of 1D array. And what we thought is, let's try to normalize the image using min-max scaler such that the values are within a specific range such that it would be useful for further processing. So used min-max scaler to get it done. Once it is done, we have an image in place which can be done for processing. So the one great problem that we faced during this step since we had a lot of image for processing, it was taking a lot of time since we don't have that much compute power. So it took us a lot of hours to get this process done. But even though we got all the data done, it takes a lot of time. So here we just have the functions for looping through all the files and all the files in a Google Drive and extracting all the signals and lead signals and CSV values out of it. So this is what basic processing of our project. Let me go to another slide. So yeah, in the feature extraction and the data engineering part, that's exactly what I mentioned before. Once we get the contour image and extracted the CSV file out of it, we are combining all the lead signal values in a single CSV file processing. So prior passing to our ML model, we have a single CSV file which contains 12 lead values of all 12 leads in a form of all the X values in a form of columns with around 1,000 images in place. So we have the trained data set which can be passed into the ML model for further processing. Now Pooja will let you guys know about the what was the ML model done and about the architecture and the deployment.
Thank you, Avinash. So to start with, the output of the pre-processing step was a CSV file, which comprises of all the 12 leads. And as Avinash mentioned, all the prediction label is Y, and all the other features or attributes were taken as X. Then moving ahead, initially we started with the individual models, like we took KNN, logistic regression, SVM, so on, and we trained each model and saw performance accordingly. Then once we understood that there were different like say performance on each model, and in order to try the state of art, we just went with grid search CV and ensemble technique. So why grid search CV? That is basically, it tells us or helps us to get the hyperparameter that is required for each basic model in order to enhance their performance. And also why ensemble technique? Since we had seen different combinations of performance or say accuracy in each of these models, we just thought of stacking up 3 models out of the models that are listed here, and we performed an ensemble technique. So for our ensemble technique, we used KNN, SVM, and random forest. And stacking all those 3, each of us gave prediction here. Each of us gave those predictions, and the output, or say output of each models, were then passed to a voting classifier. So here voting classifier that we used, or say the method that we used for voting classifier, is basically a soft voting based. That is, it gets the probability from each model, and which has the highest probability, or which label has the highest probability, will be taken as the final prediction. So with this understanding of the model that we used, moving ahead, so I'll just go with the deployment and come back to the higher architecture. So this is how our deployment architecture is. So whenever there is a change in the Colab, or any changes that we did to the source code, as and when it is pushed to the GitHub, there will be an auto trigger that is enabled because of the webhook that we have. The same, like using Docker file, we built the container, and that gets stored on the container registry. Then we will run that particular container on the cloud run, and that's how the user will be able to access our application. Now, coming back to the higher level architecture, so the end application, or like say how user can use it. So once the user uploads an image to our web application that we hosted on cloud, all the necessary pre-processing steps will be taken in place. That is changing into grayscale, removing backgrounds, so on. So once all that pre-processing is done, then it is sent to an ensemble model, and the final prediction will be given out to the user as result. So in like seeing the same in demo. So here is a link. Here is the demo of the project, where initially I'll start picking each files of different types of abnormalities, and we'll go through how the prediction goes. So to start with, I'll be taking a normal image from the validation set that we have. So this is the image that has been uploaded, and we can also see the other pre-processing steps that we are doing. This is the grayscale conversion. Then we have the dividing the leads. Then this is how we are pre-processing it, wherein we are removing the background. This is the extraction of those signals, and we are converting it into one-dimensional signals. Then on applying the dimensionality reduction, this is how the data will be. And then this is the final prediction that we have got. Now going to the different types of abnormal images. And the prediction is abnormal heartbeat. I'm going to the next category of abnormality. So again, this is a grayscale image. Then these are the different leads that we have. Then our pre-processing steps. After dimensional reduction. So it says it's MI. Going on to the last category. History of myocardial infarction. So this is how the prediction is, and with all the different type of ensemble techniques that we have applied, our model accuracy is around 93% now. So furthermore, we can increase the accuracy by using CNN techniques, where we can have like different layers and learning using those different layers. But for now, with the